Hi and welcome back to InfoSec. So for this video, I just wanted to make something to help us beginners if you're going into investigations and you've been tasked to investigate an incident that happened on your environment and the management or your job role requires you to figure out what's going on. Is there anything malicious that's happening? What can you do to prevent it? And if you're new to it or you're worried that you are not covering your bases and you just want to generally improve the way you do your investigations, I just got the thing just for you. So I just want to introduce to you this framework called the Mitre Attack Framework. I think as you're going into cybersecurity, you might have heard this website that shares with you this abundant knowledge where it's a compilation of the different attack vectors using the kill chain model, which is essentially a generalized, agreed way of how malicious activity enters into a device or attacks a certain device. And this amazing open source intelligence site has gathered the different studies, studied the different threat actors and the most common MOs that appears most of the time, and compiled it in such a way that allows you to utilize it and gives you this ability to have this playbook that you can fall back to. So today I just want to allow and teach you how to actually use this framework to improve your investigations, to be able to handle any form of investigation that comes your way if you're in blue teaming. So the 4 pictures or 4 points that you really need to go through is the detection, capturing the gap, building your story, and building your remediation plan. All can be done through your Mitre Attack Framework. So let's go through the first one, detection. So in detection in your organization, most of the time you would have already a general sense of a tool or a solution to protect your environment. So example, it could be your defender's AV, or maybe you might have a protection system inside your organization or your endpoint that already would have figured out there is something going on, something suspicious going on, and it requires you to take over to figure out the impact and to investigate more where it could have come from, what is the general picture of what happened. Right. After that, we're going to be using the Mitre Attack Framework to figure out what are the different parts that we are missing. So let's jump straight into the framework. So example, in this website, I'm going to be sharing it in the description. Most of the time, you might be tasked or might find that your solution will have indicated that they maybe found a suspicious file that was running, right? And so that will be under the execution phase. In this execution phase, immediately you know that this is where you are, and what you're trying to do is you figure out the gaps that you have in your story or investigation. So first thing you need to know is that I'm missing how this attack got into your device or your organization. Then we'll be starting to move on into figure out the different things that we need to know in this whole entire attack chain. So what are the different impacts? So was there any persistent set? Was there any privilege escalation? Was there any lateral movement or command control? So the benefit of having this framework is it allows you to have this guiding principle to figure out what are the potential areas that you need to continue to look in. So let's give an example. Say you found a suspicious scheduled task that was running into your machine. Immediately you need to know that you're missing that how it got into your device. So you need to start looking into your initial access. Use the different columns to get a general idea of what you're missing. So immediately you would like to also know that from this scheduled task job, is there persistence or was there any credential access? So look at the columns and see how it allows you to piece out what is the possible path this scheduled job could do. The next thing we need to jump into is building your story. So now that you know your different gaps, so you know that once you've spotted the task, the suspicious task in your environment, the next thing you need to start building is, okay, under initial access, how was it done? And this is the best part about it. Immediately you know these are the different vectors that most attackers would have gone through, and you can start figuring out about where to start looking into. And this is where you start to go deeper into the Mitre attack descriptions. You start figuring out, okay, so these are the mitigations that we'll look into later, but these are the detection points, right? How the different processes could lead to the next, and this is where you look into, and it builds back into your different stories. For instance, maybe it created a new file, and then that could be a persistence where there was additional compromise was finally created, right? So it gives you a map that you really need. The last thing is to build your remediation. So now that you've done your investigation, so you noted that it's a scheduled job, maybe it was due to a drive-by compromise that you did notice during your investigation, and then you found that it could have created a compromised host. If you go into each section, you realize that Mitre Framework also gives you the ability to tell you what to do to prevent it or to remediate the issue. And then if you just compile all these investigations and do them, you have a general high confidence to know that you've addressed and reduced the risk from this attack, right? So as someone who's very new to all this, you just can imagine how useful this tool is, especially when attacks are getting more and more sophisticated and complicated. To be able to have this guiding principle, this guiding playbook for you is so amazing for you to figure out and solve for the mess. Yeah. So just wanted to introduce you this framework that you can utilize in your investigation. Do go ahead and try to study and read it. And one amazing thing about this is that if you really study this framework, you have a general sense of how to handle any kinds of different attacks that you see in your day-to-day basis if you're under cybersecurity. Yeah, and not to mention you will have this vast knowledge of how to handle threats and use this as your knowledge base to share during your interviews to get yourself into a cybersecurity job. Yeah. So I hope this was a valuable insight for you. I'll be sharing the site description below, and until the next time, I hope you enjoyed this video. Do like and subscribe. Bye.